What's going on, guys? Welcome back to NolanTCG, and we are back here today for another deck profile, and this time, it's for Toons. So we made a couple of small changes to the deck to try and give it a bit of a consistency buff, and also kind of let it play through around a little bit more hand traps. This is, of course, a going second build, so if that's what you're interested in, that's what this is gonna be, sorry. We might look at doing a going first build in future, however, I do feel as though that would probably involve Dragoon, and if that's not something you're super keen on, yeah, it's probably not going to be the best thing. It'll also involve the counter trap and stuff like that, but of course, yeah, Dragoon good, isn't it? And it could get hit on the next ban list, so that's always an option. Before we do get started though, please remember to drop down below and hit that subscribe button if you are new here, because we are always happy to have new people on the channel. And let's get on into this deck profile. Before we do get started on this one though, it is brought to you of course by yourplaymat.com, who got us our beautiful NolanTCG extra deck sleeves. These are available on yourplaymat.com, as well as you can get custom sleeves and custom playmats, so whatever you need for the current format. There is an affiliate link in the description down below that does get you a little bit of a discount on your order. Also, enter the code NOLAN10YP for 10% off your order. Also kicks back a little bit to the channel, so everything will be very much appreciated. If you're shopping there, you're getting custom sleeves, custom playmats done. Make sure to enter our code at checkout. But let's get on into this deck profile. Okay, so starting us off, we have the Banish Boy. We have 3 copies of Toon Black Luster Soldier. This card can attack the turn it is summoned, so this is typically what you're going to be trying to focus on as you OTK, so I'll get this into a little bit of a better position for you. But yeah, this is typically what you're going to be using as your primary Toon for the OTK, given that the other ones can't attack on the turn they're summoned, so this is what you're essentially going to be going with. It is also significantly easier special summon than the others. However, it does require 8, like a level of 8, so that will involve you tributing 2 other monsters, because we aren't playing any other level 8s in the deck. For our 7s, we're playing the standard Toon line of 3 copies of Toon Dark Magician, because it can get you that special summon from the deck. And then we play 2 copies of Red Eyes Toon Dragon, because it gets you the special summon from the hand. Hopefully you've opened Dark Magician when you're doing the combo, and you go Toon Red Eyes, Toon Dark Magician. Good times, isn't it? Then we go into the rest of our kind of one-off Toons. We are playing 1 copy of Toon Harpy Lady. It does give you a little bit more versatility in your side deck, because you can start things like Harpy's Feather Storm, given that it does work for that, which is always good. And then we have 1 copy of Toon Cyber Dragon, because it's a free special summon that can get you through some link summoning lines. Then we have our next card, which is the final monster that we're playing. We're not playing any direct hand traps in this list, so it is something you can consider playing. Overall, I wanted to keep this as pure as possible and play as many Toons in the deck as possible overall. So for our last monster, it is Blackstone of Legend. It is probably the best card in this Toon deck, because it can summon your Red Eyes from the deck, and that gets the other ones out of your hand, and that gets you to the plays you want to be making. Then we have a massive spell lineup. This deck very obviously loses to stuff like Imperial Order, things like that, so do keep that in mind. That will just ruin your day. When that Tri-Brigade player always happens to draw the 1, yeah, life's going to be a little bit difficult. For our spell line though, we are playing 3 copies of Toon Kingdom. Of course, it is kind of 100% necessary. It's your Toon world that makes everything function. We are playing 3 of the Toon Bookmark to give us the searches. Of course, does also give you protection. Weirdly, with Sky Striker coming back into the format, this deck wins very easily against Sky Striker, and it's really funny. As long as you've like used a bookmark to get to your kingdom, it's very hard for you to lose. Because all of a sudden your stuff can't be targeted, and they need to be main decking Cosmic Cyclone to be able to let out your Toon Kingdom. And life's just good at that point. It's very good. Then we go into the last of our searcher. That is 3 copies of Toon Table of Contents. Of course, you're going to get drolled, so have fun. Then we go into the rest of our spells. We've got 3 copies of Toon Page Flip to get you the special summon from the deck. Then 3 copies of Toon Rollback to give your monsters 2 attacks. You do want to be doing that so that you can really punch your opponent in the face for as much as possible, because remember, they can attack directly. Then we have 3 copies of Comic Hands, so we can steal the opponent's monsters, go into link plays, or, again, they can attack directly. Then we go into the last of the one-offs, so we've got 1 copy of Shadow Toon. It's just essentially a burn card, does some cheap damage. And then we have 1 copy of Mimicat, so that we can start taking the stuff out of the opponent's graveyard, which is always good. Who knows? They could have some good stuff in there. Maybe a Dragoon. Maybe you're going to have a fun time. Then we go into the rest of our spell cards. We have 3 copies of Extravagance. You don't want to be playing Prosperity in this build. Despite the fact that it does let you select what you're going to be banishing out of your extra deck, you do want to be able to be doing as much damage as possible, so that's just not something that functions properly. So Extravagance is the draw spell of choice. You don't really care about your extra deck, although there are some like versatility options that you can play in it. For the rest of our spells, we've got one copy of 1-for-1, so you're going to be using this primarily to access your your Blackstone of Legend. Then for other one-offs, we've got one copy of Terraforming to get you to Toon Kingdom. Again, another card can be drolled. One Called by the Grave, because you need to stop the droll. So hopefully you open this, and then you can win. And then, lastly, one copy of Monster Reborn. This is the 40th card. Feel free to switch it for anything you'd like. I do always say switch up the deck completely to whatever you'd like to be playing. Of course, like, this isn't a be-all and end-all of the best Toon list you can possibly be playing, but it is probably the best function that I can kind of come up with that's pure, essentially. So, yeah, as always, change things to the way you want to change them to. But, yeah, this is the 40th card. Definitely switch this if you have a better idea for it. Okay, now we start off with our extra deck, and we'll start with the links. For our link lines, we have, first off, one copy of Relinquished Anima. So your Relinquished Anima, you got to be using it for your Blackstone. You don't ideally want to be using it for the Blackstone, given that, your Blackstone's much better when you're using the Tribute effect. However, if you do run out of the Toon Red Eyes, let's say you draw one and you've already used the other, Relinquished Anima is something good that you can go into, as well as Link Karibo. Again, this will steal an opponent's monster. This will give you that little bit of protection. Then for our other link lines, we have a standard kind of access code package. So one Nightmare Phoenix to clear a back row, and one Nightmare Unicorn to get you Shuffle Back. It is also a 3 that makes your access code much nicer. We are also playing one copy of Ningirsu, just because it can give you a Dragoon out, and sometimes you can have a bit of a tough time. You typically would just go straight over it and not really worry about it. But if it does become a problem, Ningirsu is probably going to be a way to get out of it. And then lastly, for our links, one access code. We're just going to be making a big access code, hopefully backing it up with a Toon Blackluster Soldier, and that is game 9 times out of 10. For our fusions, we are playing some fusions in here because we want to be able to counter Dogmatica. For that, we've got 2 copies of Elder Entity Entis, and then 1 copy of Macabre. We will, of course, be playing the Nova as well. Here it is, to be able to summon that Macabre from the deck. You do just want to be able to counter the Maximus. You don't want your opponent to be able to just freely activate it on you. So, yeah, you kind of want to be going down these lines. These are a lot of one-offs, but don't stress too much. Like, it's not super essential to be going into your extra deck in this deck. So if stuff that's important, that you could feel important at the moment, get banished by your Extravagance, it's okay. Possibly, like, tweak your deck building a little bit to max out on those cards that you necessarily feel you 100% need to have at all times. But I don't really feel anything super necessary apart from what we're about to get into. Next up for our XEs, 1 copy of Zeus. This isn't super necessary, however, it can come up in certain, like, kind of situations, wherein you go for the 2 level 7s, that will then get you into the next cards, and then you end on with the BLS as well. You can go into a Zeus after that and just kind of Zeus your opponent's board. However, you don't really want to be doing that, because then you will probably lose your Toon Kingdom. You want it to be very much a worst case situation. Then for our rank 7s, we've got 2 copies of Flare Metal. That gives you that cheap little burn. You can soft lock your opponent with this card if there's like something you have to get over. You can typically go for like Flare Metal, attack twice with the BLS, given like other stuff in your hand, and then you can soft lock them with the burn damage and they just can't activate anything. It's pretty fun. Then last off, we've got 2 copies of Big Eye, because again, you just want to be able to take some stuff. But that wraps us up here for the deck profile for this one. So as always, if you do have any recommendations or things you would change, do make sure to comment them down below. And as always, I've been Ben from NolanTCG, and have a good afternoon, everybody.